How about you and I play a game? Yes, you, watching this video right now. Let's play a game of rock, paper, scissors. Except, I will only play what is on the other side of this piece of paper right here. Let me know down in the comments what you choose. Rock, paper, or scissors, and we will see at the end of the video who ends up winning. As for what we'll wager, let's see. If I win, you have to subscribe to the channel and go to the channel right now and watch every single video that is published on it. If you win, I will make a video of your suggestions surrounding No Game No Life that you put down in the comments below, along with what your choice is between rock, paper, and scissors. Now, if we tie, let's just say we meet in the middle. You subscribe to the channel, and I'll continue to post No Game No Life videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Sound fair? Good. Now, let's get into the video and discuss the rock, paper, scissors match that happened between Stephanie Dola and Sora. Rock, paper, scissors, at its core, is a game of deception and trolling. You want to have your opponent pick a certain choice so that you can pick the one that wins against theirs. Now, in a normal game of rock, paper, scissors, that is kind of random. Unless you really know your opponent and can anticipate what they will end up choosing, then you're pretty much taking shots in the dark. But when there is known information, even if there's a hint at that information, then, well, you can make some assumptions. You can start rationalizing out what your opponent might choose. Now, granted, I'm not as kind as Sora. I've made my choice in advance, but I didn't tell you exactly what that choice was. Sora, on the other hand, told Steph that he would only win if he played paper. And if they ended up tying, if he beat her with something other than paper, then it would just be a tie overall. So this gave Steph a huge advantage in the overall game. Sora could only win if he played paper, but there were 3 other instances where he could tie, and, as we find out with the end result of the game and the bets that were placed, it would end up in the same result for him either way. So, Sora, whether he won or tied, it was the same for him. He was the one who would set the rules for the game and set it up so that he would be victorious either way. Still, Steph had a 5 in 9 chance of winning. She could have easily outplayed Sora, and when she thought about it, well, she could either play scissors, which would give her a 2 in 3 chance of winning, or she could play rock, which would give her the same odds. And so, looking at that, she knew that Sora would anticipate that she played scissors. So instead, she was going to play rock, because that's the other option that still gives her a 2 in 3 chance of winning and goes against Sora's expectations. But then, looking at Sora's face and how he was smugly smiling, she realized he has no reason to play anything other than paper, since that's the only way he could win. And rock, if she chose that, then that would give him the chance to win. So she went back and stuck with her choice of scissors that would still give her that 2 in 3 chance of winning. She was focused on that 2 in 3 chance of winning, and so did not choose paper, which ultimately would have won her that match of rock, paper, scissors, because Sora knew that she was going to pick scissors and thus picked rock, and he won. And Sora was absolutely right. Steph really didn't think that through. Granted, she didn't know that a tie would end up with the exact same result for Sora. She did realize that he was aiming for a tie, but didn't realize how bad that would be for her, so she was aiming to win. And because of that, she didn't consider paper as an option at all. She could only focus on scissors and rock. Now, in my opinion, she should never have considered rock in the first place, because that gives Sora a 1 in 3 chance of winning. And, well, you should eliminate that right out of the gate. A tie or a win still works out in benefit for Steph regardless, at least in her mind at that point in time. And if she was able to anticipate that Sora would know she would pick scissors, then she should be able to think that he would pick rock in return. So she should pick paper, and she would have won in that case. But thanks to Sora's trolling, thanks to his deception and the way that he was able to get into Steph's head, he was able to force her to pick scissors. He was able to read her like an open book and anticipate what she was going to pick. Rock, paper, scissors, really a game of chance, but if you can talk to people beforehand. Get them to start thinking that you're going to play one specific move, and then you can choose the one that will beat theirs. It's all mind games if you can talk to your opponent beforehand, but if there's no real conversation or anything and it's just a match of rock, paper, scissors, then it's pretty much just a shot in the dark. But in the scope of No Game, No Life, this game was a perfect introduction to the kind of mind games that are going to be played throughout the overall series. It's pretty small scale, with just a rock, paper, scissors match being played in like half an episode of the anime, with stakes that are on a much more personal level rather than on the scale of having entire races of beings put at stake because of a single game, which, you know, happens multiple times as we move throughout the No Game, No Life story. This game was a perfect introduction to the covenants and how they apply to individuals, both with the rules that have been set about the game. Even though Steph didn't understand, she still agreed to the rules, and Sora was in control the entire time. Even though she didn't understand the overall scope of the bets that were made and how disadvantageous they were for her, she agreed to them anyways, and they were still enforced by the covenants, showing that they are still binding even when people manipulate them to their own advantage. Also, again, highlighting how important information is for everything that is done in No Game, No Life. The game begins far before you ever get to the actual game board in this series. The information that you have going into it, the knowledge that you can gain about your opponent, about the game that is going to be played, about what to anticipate of the moves to come ahead. There is so much nuance in everything that goes on in this series that is pretty well highlighted by a simple game of rock, paper, scissors. But now let's get back to our little game of rock, paper, scissors, shall we? If you saw this piece of paper here and assumed that there was nothing on the other side, then you would have thought that I would have picked paper. And with that being the case, you would have chosen scissors, right? But if we both thought that far ahead, then I would have picked rock to counter your scissors. And in response to that, you would have then picked paper to counter my rock. So I ended up choosing scissors. And let me know if you actually won that little game of rock, paper, scissors. I made my choice based on the rationale I just described, that seeing a piece of paper might get you to think that the trick involved in this game is that there wasn't anything written on the other side. So if you picked scissors to counter me, then we tied, and that still works out pretty well in both of our favors, don't you think? And if you did think a couple steps ahead that I might have anticipated you choosing scissors, so I instead chose rock, and your overall choice ended up being paper, then, well, I win. And, you know, I'll go easy on you guys. You don't have to watch every video on the channel, you just have to go and watch maybe 2 or 3 more. Seems relatively fair, right? So we'll have to see how things look when this video is posted and I take a look at the comments down below. But see, here's the thing. There was a little bit of a catch. I have no idea if any of you cheated, because this video is 10 to 15 minutes long, I think. I don't really know as I'm filming this, as there's multiple takes and everything in between, but unless your comment was made within probably the first 5 minutes of this video going live, I have no way of knowing if your comment is actually legitimate, and therefore I'm unfortunately going to have to disqualify it. And in the case of a disqualification, I guess we can just count this as a tie. So, you know, if you enjoyed this little game, make sure to subscribe to the Daily Flugel, and please don't get mad at me too much in the comments. Of course you knew there was going to be a little bit of a catch. This is No Game, No Life. We're talking about here, you know. So, don't hate me too much. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this little game. If you thought it worked well, if you thought it was just useless and could be cut out of the video, I don't know. I kind of like doing little things like this. But yeah, make sure to subscribe. I'll continue making more No Game, No Life videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And of course, if you want to see some games played live on stream, you can check out my Twitch channel, linked in the description below, as I stream every Tuesday and Saturday. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Ashente.